We know now that in the early years of the 20th century, this world was being watched closely by intelligences greater than man, yet as mortal as souls. We know now that as human beings busied themselves about their various concerns, were scrutinized with such have noticed as narrowly as a man with a microscope might scrutinize the strange creatures, or the multiply the drop of water.
God, we got a problem.
Of course we do.
There's a woman down there being brutally assaulted.
Jeffrey, there's always someone being assaulted, or raped, or murdered. There's always someone suffering from a disease or dying in an accident. This stuff is nothing new, Jeffrey.
Couldn't you, I don't know, do something about it?
No?
Well, why the hell not?
Simple. I want my creation to be free, Jeffrey. True freedom of choice means having the ability to choose to do evil things. And diseases and accidents, they may seem bad, sure, but through these tribulations and hardships, people can become stronger. You can't appreciate the good without knowing the bad. I never give people more than they can handle.
You never give people more than they can handle?
Yep.
That's not really the case for everyone who has ever died, is it? Look, I'm not being absolute here. I'm not asking you to get rid of every evil and every hardship. But a little child who dies of cancer will never be stronger because of his tribulation. He will die because of it. It's pointless.
It's not pointless. It's a part of my plan.
Plan? I thought you were all about free will. And just what the hell is your plan? You, the wisest being in existence, can't figure out how to carry out your plan without requiring the deaths of innocent children? And I'm not even asking you to put a stop to all evil, but why do you allow evil that seems so pointless? Like what's happening to that woman and her son? What good will come of that? You could stop it. Effortlessly. You are omnipresent, which means you're in their presence, watching it happen. God Almighty Himself is just standing there, watching it. Why won't you do something?
I told you, Jeffrey, free will.
You don't want to interfere with the murderer's freedom?
Well, yeah.
So what you're saying is that you care more about the murderer's freedom to murder and the rapist's freedom to rape than you care about the lives of their victims.
Well, it doesn't sound as good when you put it like that, but yeah, I guess you're right.
What do you think Superman would do if he were here? Do you think he'd just stand here and watch, like you do every day?
No, probably not.
Superman is supposed to be good. You're supposed to be good.
Superman isn't concerned about interfering with free will.
Oh, like you never interfered with free will? Like you never performed a frickin' miracle? Let me ask you something. If you performed a miracle right now and stopped that rapist, how many people's free will would be affected?
Well, the rapist's free will would be affected, so one, I guess.
One person's free will would be affected if you stopped him.
Right.
Would anyone's free will be affected if you did nothing?
Well,
Doesn't it look like that woman is being assaulted against her will?
Well, yeah, I suppose, but...
So whether you choose to help or not, at least one person's free will is going to be affected, right?
True.
So you're taking the side of the rapist and the murderer. Your inaction is action. You're protecting the murderer's free will over that of their victims.
In the end, though, I'm not taking the murderer's side because they're gonna burn in hell forever and ever.
So after 1 trillion years, these guys are still going to be burning in agony because of this?
Yep.
Will that unrape the woman? Will that unmurder her son?
Well, no.
Will the torture of her rapist make her feel better about being raped?
No, I guess not.
And what will burning forever and ever teach them?
Well, it'll teach them not to rape or murder, that's for sure.
And what good will that do anyone as long as they're burning forever? Perhaps the situation is more nuanced than you bad, you burn. What if you stopped them, or set actions into motion that would stop them, and help them realize that what they would have done is wrong, turn their zeal for evil into zeal for good? Maybe they could then be the ones to prevent future murders and rapes instead of you. Now that would be a cool plan from a benevolent God. But, as you'd have it, a woman would be raped, a boy murdered, and 2 men mercilessly tortured forever and ever.
But I told you, Jeffrey, I have strict rules. I shall not interfere.
Okay, that sure as hell didn't stop you in the old days. Before video cameras existed, you were parting the Red Sea, ordering people to do all kinds of shit, turning people into pillars of salt.
Okay, we get it, Jeffrey.
I mean, Jesus was walking on frickin' water and curing leprosy just to prove he was the Son of God. Which, if you think about it, doesn't actually prove jack shit.
I said we get it already, Jeffrey.
The point is, you didn't really give a shit about people's free will back then, did you?
Well, okay. You see, after Jesus came...
Oh, don't give me that after Jesus shit. People are constantly attributing miracles to you. When that train derailed, killing 158 people, but that one little boy was pulled out of the rubble by a firefighter, instead of giving him the credit, everyone gave you the credit, calling him a miracle baby, and forgetting that 158 other people had just died. Where were their miracles?
Actually, Jeffrey, that was a miracle. I did that one to keep up my image. You know, every cloud has to have its silver lining.
Really?
Yep.
Huh. And, when Pastor Henry said in his sermon that God helped him find his car keys...
Yep. That was me. That was a miracle. What? Were the keys to his Mercedes supposed to just find themselves?
And, when 2-year-old Benny Smith died of cancer?
I work in mysterious ways.
What about when Tom Anderson survived being shot in the head by a mugger?
Oh, I saved him. That was a miracle.
And when Nicole Jones didn't survive being shot in the head by a mugger?
I won't interfere with free will.
Okay, stop right there. You didn't just spot the problem. You don't see anything wrong with your consistency here?
Wait a minute. You know, Jeffrey, I think you're right.
Finally!
Yeah. Let Pastor Henry find his own damn car keys.
In order to believe the Christian message, you have to believe this. For those 100,000 years, people were born, died, usually, many of them, in childbirth, either the mother or the child. Had life expectancy, perhaps 20 years, 25. Died of microorganisms they didn't know existed. Genesis doesn't mention them because the people who write Genesis don't know there are microorganisms. Earthquakes would have been terrifying. Tsunamis, volcanoes, mysterious events. War and famine superimposed on this. You can all fill out this picture for yourselves, I'm sure. That was our life. For tens of thousands of years, on and on it went. Maybe a gradual upward curve of a sort. We seem to have made some progress, very painfully, and with infinite suffering and labor, and with our solidarity still intact. Now here's what you have to believe. You have to believe that heaven watched that for 98,000 years. And after 98,000 years decided 2,000 years, it may be time to intervene. And the best way of doing that would be to have a filthy human sacrifice in a very remote part of Palestine. And the news of this has still not penetrated to the rest of the world, and I don't think will be believed when it does, and isn't believed by me, and can't be believed by a thinking person. Thank you.